Picture a company so vast, it was once the largest retailer on earth. The place an entire nation went to buy almost everything it owned. Now, picture that same company years later, unable to close a single deal, not with a customer, but with itself. Its own brands refusing to do business with each other. Its own executives hiding their screens from the colleagues beside them. Its own divisions quietly working to defeat one another as the whole enterprise sank beneath them. This isn't really a story about a store, it's a story about what happens to people, smart, decent, ordinary people, when someone quietly changes the rules of the game they're playing. The company had a name every American once knew. For a century, it didn't just sell to the country, it helped build it, and it was destroyed deliberately from the inside. This is the story of Sears, but really, it's about the invisible force running your workplace right now, and the brilliant, secretive man behind Sears who showed the world just how dangerous that force can be. To feel how strange this collapse is, you have to know what Sears once was. Before Amazon, before Walmart, there was a single catalog, thick as a phone book, that landed in mailboxes across America and contained the entire material world. Tools, wedding dresses, refrigerators. You could buy a rifle from Sears, a tombstone. And, this is true, an entire house, delivered by train in thousands of numbered pieces, that you assembled on your own land. Sears sold America to America. At its peak, around $50 billion a year, 3,000 stores, over 300,000 employees. And in 2005, this 100-year-old giant was handed to a man almost no one had heard of. Eddie Lampert. On paper, the most impressive person in any room. A prodigy. Recruited young by Goldman Sachs, mentored by a future U.S. Treasury Secretary. He started his own hedge fund at 25. And he was so good, so fast, that serious people compared him to a young Warren Buffett. And one detail captures how the world saw him. In 2003, Lampert was kidnapped, taken at gunpoint, bound, held in a motel bathroom for 2 days. By widely reported accounts, he didn't panic. He talked to his captors. He negotiated and walked out alive. To those who admired him, that was the whole legend. A man so calm, so persuasive, he could reason his way out of a kidnapping. A man who saw what others couldn't, and made very smart people want to follow him. He believed, to his core in the free market, that competition, not committees, is what makes people sharp and honest. He admired the novelist Ayn Rand enough to name his $250 million yacht after her most famous book, The Fountainhead. Remember that word. It matters. Because when Lampert looked at slow, sprawling, century-old Sears, he didn't see a store to fix. He saw a market waiting to be set free. In January 2008, he unveiled it. Internally, it had a name, SOAR. Instead of one company rowing together, Lampert shattered Sears into more than 30 business units. Soon around 40. Apparel, tools, appliances, Kenmore, Craftsman, even HR, even technology. Each became its own miniature company and its own president, its own profit and loss statement to defend. And here is what changed everything. They didn't have to cooperate. They were built to compete. If one division wanted help from another, it couldn't just ask. It had to negotiate a contract and pay, or hire an outsider instead. On a whiteboard, it's elegant. Let every unit fight to survive, and the best ideas win. The invisible hand of the market, brought inside a single company. Within months, the CEO Lampert had installed walked away, and the psychology of the place began to change. At first, it looked almost comic, the kind of thing you'd laugh about if it weren't happening to a company with 150,000 employees. Kenmore had been Sears for generations, but now Kenmore was one unit, and the division that sold appliances on the floor was another. And that division made more money giving its best space to rival brands like LG. So inside Sears' own stores, Sears' own flagship brand got pushed to the back to help a competitor, because that's what the numbers rewarded. Then Craftsman and DieHard, two crown jewels, both Sears owned, who couldn't build a single product together because one wouldn't pay the other's royalty. Then the advertising. Every unit fought for space in the weekly circular. Meetings collapsed into screaming matches. The flyers made no sense. Screwdrivers, as one account put it, next to lingerie. One year, the Mother's Day cover went to a boy's dirt bike because the sporting goods unit bought the space and didn't care about mothers. It cared about its numbers. And here, the comedy curdles, because when every part of a company serves only itself, something happens to the people inside it. They stop trusting each other. Former employees brought laptops with privacy screens to meetings, so colleagues sitting beside them couldn't see their work. Not competitors, colleagues. In 2 years, by one count, at least 67 senior executives left. And above it all sat Lampert, running Sears from Florida, appearing as a giant face on a screen, interrogating executives for 45 minutes at a stretch. They dreaded the summons. They had a name for it. You went in to get your knees cut off. It wasn't a company anymore. It was a set of frightened tribes sharing a logo. Now, here it would be easy to end. Ruthless billionaire wrecks a beloved company with a crazy idea. Villain, victim, curtain. But that misses the most unsettling thing about Sears, because the people who demoted Kenmore, fought over the flyer, wouldn't share a battery, and they weren't breaking the rules. They were following them. Perfectly. Everyone did exactly what the system asked. Protect your own unit's numbers. They weren't sabotaging the company. From where they stood, they were winning. That's what should keep you up at night. Sears didn't die because people ignored their incentives. It died because they followed them, all the way off a cliff. The system didn't malfunction, it worked. It did precisely what it was designed to do. And Lampert was no fool, he still defends the idea. In his own words, decentralized systems work better than centralized ones because they produce better information over time. The downside is that to some, it appears messier. It appears messier. He looked at the sabotage and the slow collapse and saw the acceptable mess of a market at work. That is the danger of a powerful idea. It can explain away almost anything, even its own wreckage. One honest note. After the collapse, Sears' own bankruptcy estate sued Lampert, alleging he'd stripped away its most valuable pieces for himself and his hedge fund. He denied it. In 2022, the case settled for $175 million, with no admission of wrongdoing, and an acknowledgement the defendants had acted in good faith. So we won't guess what was in his heart. We'll show you what his system did to the people caught inside it. By 2018, there was almost nothing left to fight over. Reporters who spoke with Sears veterans in those last years kept hearing the same note. Not anger. Embarrassment. One described the quiet shame of standing in a store with leaking ceilings and cracked floors, watching customers pass shelves so empty that staff had hung bedsheets over them. Not to fool anyone, but out of something like dignity. These were people who had once been proud to say where they worked. When someone pressed Lampert about winning more customers, he reportedly said, "We don't need more customers. We have all the customers we could possibly want." They did not. On October 15th, 2018, Sears filed for bankruptcy. Roughly $7 billion in assets against more than $11 billion in debt. Around 68,000 jobs in the balance. The company that once sold America everything could no longer pay its own bills. 120 years ended not by a scandal, a crash, or a better rival. It ended the way we began. From the inside, by design. So what do we take from the ruins? It's tempting to say one strange billionaire had one bad idea. A freak. Nothing to do with you. That's the exact comfort this story refuses to give. Because every organization you have ever belonged to runs on incentives that someone chose. The bonus targets, the dashboard metrics, the behavior that quietly gets you promoted, and the behavior that quietly gets you sidelined. Someone designed those, and they wrote the rules of a game everyone around you is now playing, including you. People aren't, mostly, good or bad at work. They're responsive. Point the incentives at cooperation, and you get cooperation. Point them at self-interest, and you'll get it. Even from people who anywhere else are generous and kind. Sears is only the extreme. A quieter version of it is running in almost every workplace on Earth, right now. So before you close this and go back to work, sit with the harder question. Somewhere in your organization, Two people are optimizing for something that's quietly hurting the whole. A team guarding its own numbers. A rule no one remembers writing. A metric slowly bending good people toward a bad outcome. What is it? And be honest, are you certain you're not one of them? The empire didn't fall because its people stopped caring. It fell because they did exactly what they were told to do.